Howdy, folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. And tonight, we got quite a show for you with my co-host, my only co-host right now, and Lucky Stone. Thank you for being here. We got a good show ahead.
My pleasure. I can't wait.
We're going to kind of wing it tonight. Hopefully, I sent out a link to Delaney Pearl Jones, who just moved into her new house. And I'm hoping, cross your fingers, everybody, that she responds back and clicks the link and comes on tonight. She did send me some pictures, which I will show right here of her new house, because I know everybody really loves Delaney. And oh, that's the files. I gotta find it first here. Maybe this is it. Anyway, she sent me a picture of her new house and her son, and there we go. And
very
this
exciting.
is very exciting. Yeah, she manifested a house and a new place to live. Remember, she left her old place and she came back, and she is a tough go-getter. And I want to share this with y'all. This is a picture she sent. They're all moved into their new house. There's her son. He's all happy. He's got a house to live in. No Rick around, and all is good. So give it to Delaney Pearl Jones. I hope she makes it on tonight later to give us an update on what is going on in her life and update on the new house and all of that. So let's see. Okay, good deal. So thank you all for coming. We got a mess full of people in the house tonight. We got Amber Dawn. We got Off the Hook, Nina the Mystic, Scotty Boy, Grandpa Brian. Grandpa Brian's got a bunch of friends at the house, so he can't stay too long. We got Max Vision in the house. Pamela Jean has come to join us tonight. Who else do we got going on here? A lot of people in the house, and that I probably haven't seen. Steve-O's in the house. There we go. Steve-O. I'm looking for anybody else that I can see who's been in chat. Anyway, that's my best guess for tonight so far. Remember, tomorrow night, go join Nina at 8 o'clock for her unboxing. She's having an unboxing at 8 o'clock. But at 9 o'clock, due to some misconnections and unforeseen circumstances, Trina couldn't join us tonight. So Trina and Delabore will be on tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. So just letting you all know to come back tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, where you can join me, Delabore, and Trina Phoenix for a great show. Fire and Ice it'll be. Anyway, so join Nina tomorrow at 8. And then right after this show at 10 o'clock or so, I do believe that Max Vision has his remote viewing class, and I encourage you all to go over there and remote view. Okay, so tonight we're going to review a little bit, because I know a lot of you joined in with Lucky Stone last night on his show. I know A7 wasn't on, so you went over to his side and checked him out, and he was talking about affirmations. Now, what are affirmations good for? I had a lot of questions I wanted to ask. You just jumped right in and went to the affirmations, and I thought, I know there's a lot of people out there that say, okay, so what am I doing these affirmations for? Please explain some of this stuff to us.
Sure, absolutely. Honestly, a lot of us have negative self-talk. I think we have so much in our heads. We're helping everybody, and for some reason, that negative self-talk takes over, and we have to find a way of battling it. A secondary source, a second, side of things, and that's what affirmations do. It will build up the positive talk, the positive self-talk, and eventually, what is it? If you do something for like 22 days straight, it becomes a habit. So for me, it's affirmations. And the funny thing about affirmations is you have to make on your own. So you can read an affirmation, you can read a statement and say, yes, I agree with this. This aligns with me perfectly. But is it going to come a time when you're going to say it differently and you go, oh, I said it wrong? No, it's never wrong. It's always, you have to go with what your mind is doing and make it fit for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for affirmations. Affirmations is to bring you in alignment with your best self and
Mm-hmm.
whatever it takes. And you can start with a dozen affirmations and eventually you're going to find a few that work with you. It might be one, it might be three. For me, it's three. I have three of them that I use every day. Um, and they work with me. Off the top of my head, I can say them. And again, when I say them off the top of my head, I do change them up and then I let myself do it. It comes back to, for me, affirmations are to me like meditation. I learned in the beginning how to meditate, and here's how to meditate. There are rules. Clear your head. You can't lay down. You have to sit in the lotus position. You have to clear your head. All these rules. And then um, I met a master, a lovely Japanese gentleman, and he said to me, no, 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 no. You take those rules and you throw them out the window. I'll tell you how to meditate. You'll follow my rules. But when you meditate by yourself, you have to make it yours. And if you can lay down, which is a forbidden thing in meditation, if you can lay down and meditate and not sleep, that's your meditation. And that's the one thing is you have to find your own rules. And I can do walking meditation. I can sit in woods and meditate. I can sit at home. I can lay down and meditate. And that's because I've learned to keep that. And that's the same thing with affirmations. You have an affirmation which, oh yeah, this works with me right now. You know, I live in a friendly, supportive universe that loves me and wants me to be happy and succeed. And then it's, I live in a friendly, supportive, generous universe that loves me and wants me to be happy and succeed. I mean, it's the same thing, but you kind of twist it to make it fit yourself. So affirmations are to bring you to your positive self.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Okay, this is going to be, that was a hard one. Here, hang on. What if, I think this is, what if it doesn't make sense? This is the question to you. Can you be a bully? I don't know if that's kind of correct. Can you be a bully? What if it doesn't
What if
make
it does
sense?
make sense? Can you be
What
a
if it,
bully? I don't understand that question. If your affirmation doesn't make sense,
well,
uh,
it doesn't have to make sense to the universe. It has to
no.
make sense to you.
Right, and that's the thing is if you have an affirmation and someone says it's wrong, they don't like it, it doesn't mean it's not theirs, it's yours.
Yeah.
And as long as you can bring the positive, you know, even if it's simply, I am happy, I am relaxed, I am content, I'm at peace, which is another one I use before I go to work. Before I go to work, I say, I'm relaxed, I'm content, I'm at peace. There's four, it's four, and I've lost one of them, but there are four things. I am relaxed, I'm content, I'm at peace. And I say that, and I say it four times, you know, those four things four times in a row. And I say thank you because I thank myself for allowing myself to accept it. That's another thing. When you have an affirmation, that's my one rule is I have to say thank you. You have to appreciate yourself. I guess that's the one rule that I don't think you can really break is you have to treat yourself well. And that's what affirmations are, is to treat yourself well. And if can you be a bully? No, you can't be a bully because you're putting yourself in the most positive way. Unless you try to teach someone else your affirmation and make them follow your affirmation, that's wrong. But affirmations are personal. You can use someone else's affirmation. You can share your affirmation. But if you share your affirmation and they change it, it's great. It's better that way.
Mm-hmm.
Every affirmation should be your own.
Okay. So these are the questions that are rolling through my head, and I think you answered that one pretty good. So, how long have been people? Is this a new thing? Because I think people, when we were kids, we weren't taught that,
No.
or maybe we were, and we just didn't know it. But the thing is how long have affirmations been around?
I believe affirmations have been up since the beginning. I believe there are Egyptian texts, which, if you look into ancient Egypt, people, even though the pharaoh, the messing things that the pharaohs and the upper class did, um, the people themselves lived very well, and they had their own group, and they were allowed to have their own home deities. They were allowed to also worship the collective deities, but they had their own rules. I mean, the Egyptian Book of the Dead had some in there about, that things are good, and that as long as you understand that you live a good life, that after you die,
Mhm.
Anubis will allow you to go to the better place. And if you don't go to the better place, well, then you disappear from existence.
Mm,
I mean,
I see. Yeah.
Greeks had a whole horrible other thing. Basically, death for the Greeks was a horrible place, but for the Egyptians was peace.
Yeah.
You didn't, even for the Egyptians, you had a job, but you loved your job. That was the dream for the Egyptians, was not to live a life of, was sitting back and relaxing like a pharaoh. It was to do a job you enjoyed. The farmers loved to farm. The cutters loved to cut wood. So that was the difference between the Egyptian mindset, was basically enjoying what you do. And that's part of affirmations, is to enjoy your life, enjoy what you do, and find your niche in your existence.
Hmm. Yeah, and that is important. Now, come to speak of that, we talked about that the other day. There's a show coming up right here with Amber and Chloe coming out Monday night at 9 p.m., where we talk about doing things for yourself. And you got to tune in for that. Chloe's making her debut here on the Milky Way Soul Tribe on Monday night. So be here, be square. Anyway, yeah, we talked some about that, about doing something for yourself, because if you don't help yourself, you can't help anybody else either. So the thing is to make you the best you can be. And I think there's a lot of people out there that think they can't be the best them without somebody on their side. Like I know a lot of people, they'll want to have a girlfriend or a wife, because if they don't have somebody that loves them back or have somebody to care for, they are distraught. They're depressed. Their life is crap, you know. And I'm thinking, no, how is that? Well, if I can't, love this person or do for that person, my life is, well, wait a minute. What is your life then? What if that person's just, and this is where a lot of people get in trouble, is because they ended up, being taken advantage of, because, hey, I'll give you, but they never get anything back. They think their life is grand because they're giving, and they never think about giving to themselves. I mean, maybe that's selfless, but you have to think of the big picture about, if I'm full, like a cup of water, if I'm full, I can overflow and fill other cups. But if I'm empty, I can never fill any other cups, right?
That's the truth right there. A lot of us, and unfortunately, I'm brought to the Boston, be of service
Mhm.
to others.
Yes.
But be of service to others can be taken the wrong way, which is basically, oh, I'm servicing others to bring myself up. But if
Yeah.
you're being of service to others and sacrificing yourself, what service can you give others if you're not at your best? You're going to give them subpar results, and you're not going to intend to. You're going to be doing your best, but you're brought down so low, you're going to be giving them poor advice or poor information or poor help. And that's one thing, is that it goes counterintuitive, that I'm sacrificing myself for others, but that act itself is not the right way of doing things, because again, you're right. If you're not at your best self, how can you help anyone else? You'll
That's
bring out
right.
you'll be an anchor. You'll bring everyone down. I mean, I have known people that, oh, I help everyone, but people just don't like to be around them because they're so down and sad and like, oh yeah, I feel bad. They're so helpful and everything, but I just can't stand to be around them. And unfortunately, you don't want to be that kind of person, and because you're such a nice person, no one wants to tell you that they don't want to be around you. It's such a it's like a trap. It's like a continuing spiral because, oh, I feel so down, so I got to help more people. Oh, I'm bringing stuff down. I got to help more, and you're really not helping anyone. And people are like, oh, thank you for your help, but they don't want. It's so strange.
Hmm.
I can think of so many people like that, and I myself was like that.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. I think there's a lot of people like that. That want to help others but don't want any help back.
It
Sometimes, you
it
know,
is hard. That is my biggest trouble is asking for help.
and there's nothing. Thing is, there's nothing wrong with asking for help, and sometimes you're better off to ask for help. And I think it's when you don't ask for help, that's your ego.
Oh,
Well,
absolutely. That's the truth. Because by asking for help, it's actually a gift for someone else. You're giving them the opportunity to be their best self.
yes, yes, and because your ego gets so big. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it all. I can conquer the world. Blah blah blah. I don't need anybody. Well, but it gets so big, and then eventually it gets knocked down because, well, you tried to do too much, and well, you either got hurt, maybe you couldn't do the job, something went wrong and destroyed your life, and if you think back, you could have just asked for a little bit of help and said, "Hey, listen, I'm not perfect. I, I can try, but if I just get a little bit of help here, maybe my life would be better. Could you please help me?" And a lot of people will. They will be like, they'll feel good about themselves for helping you.
That's the truth right there. It is. Oh, my camera went down. Okay, that's the truth. People want to help you because you're a good person. You don't take advantage of others,
Hmm.
and kind people, other people love to take care of them, help them, work with them.
Yeah.
Because you are. And that's one thing is that us kind people, we don't want to take advantage of others, and so that's another thing is we don't want to ask for help because we don't want to take advantage of others. But people are like, no, you will never take advantage of anyone. You're kind. That's the difference. That's the thing is you're taking yourself first. We see as narcissistic, but
Yeah.
narcissists will take themselves first at the expense of others, while
Yes.
kind people will take themselves first to help others in the best way possible. And I say that to myself a lot.
Well,
Um,
and that's the thing. Look at Scotty Boy. He earlier said, "I am complete." He's filled up. We were talking about the cup of water. He says, "I am complete," but then he says, I refuse to ask for help." Well, Scotty Boy, we're gonna use you for example. So now he is full up, and yet he refuses to ask for help. Now, I think in a way he's got a big ego there. And if
Cute.
he would, yeah, I mean, that's great. I'm really happy for you that you're full up. But then once you're full up, are you spreading it out? That's the next part. Then since you're spreading it out doesn't mean, see, this is where I think people get it wrong. Spreading it out doesn't mean that you give to everybody. It means you get from other people too. And that means lowering your ego and having people help you. So you may not be full up. That's where people make the mistake.
The truth right there. And that's another thing is that helping everyone, expense of yourself is ego. It's, look how great I am. You're not seeing the whole picture that by helping people and sacrificing yourself, it's a selfish act because, you're just doing I think also by helping others without, by sacrificing yourself, it's doing a disservice to someone else because they you know they subconsciously realize that you're doing too much, and they can't get you to stop. It's tough. And having and if you can do everything by yourself, you're not getting any other perspective. You're only getting your own perspective. You're only getting your own perspective of the situation, of only your solution. And unfortunately, without another view, you really don't get the whole picture. You only get a two-dimensional picture when really you need other people's perspective to get a more fuller idea of the problem.
Okay, so Scotty boy, we're picking on you tonight.
Mhm.
And he says, I just don't want ego-driven people giving me ego-driven shit. Okay, but and see, that's the thing, is there is a lot of ego-driven people out there, but their ego's looking to help other people too sometimes. And you being, I guess that's the saying of being humble. Humbling yourself is actually more powerful than being more powerful, or how should I say? I don't even know. Can you help me out with this one? Okay, so you're humbling yourself. It makes you a bigger person than the guy who says, I can do it all and I can even
It's
help others.
but by you saying another person is ego driven is judgmental. You're judging them, and their spiritual path might be different than yours, and they might have to go on a different do these different things so they can learn. And by you seeing them as ego driven, it just might be your own self seeing that their act and you're seeing it in yourself. It just might be your warped opinion. And you need to, sometimes you need to accept from people who you feel are not as qualified as you are in the situation. It's tough, having help from someone who doesn't know as much as you on a subject. But again, you know, a lot of, what they say, when the student is ready, the master will come. But more to the point, when the master is ready, the student will arrive, and the student learns from the master, but the master always learns from the student. We're always learning. That's one of the things is that drives me crazy is people who say, I need more awake people in my life. Well,
Mm-hmm.
the reason why you don't have these quote awake people in your life is because you need to learn from the people that are around you already. And when you learn, then the people that you believe you want, to be in your life will come, but you haven't got there yet. It's
Yeah.
all a learning process. Absolutely. 100%. Life is that's what living on earth is a school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And school sometimes
And
sucks.
you kind of mentioned something that, here's the thing. Even learning is an everyday process, and you can learn from everybody, even the people who you may think are dumber than a box of rocks. I know I had experiences where there was guys out there that were dumber than a box of rocks, but every now and then they shined through, and it and I learned from them things that I probably wouldn't have learned anywhere else, because they were using more of their imagination, because they had, like, no knowledge, and they had no common sense, and they had no book learning. So they had to do things other ways, which was a great insight into things. But I learned from those people because they could think out of the box in a very different way.
That's the truth. There are people when they come to me with was it stupid questions, and there are no such things as stupid questions, but oh boy, they can be troublesome. And then when someone comes to you with what you judge as a stupid question, when you stop, listen to their question, and then answer it, you get new perspective of what you think you know. And I've had that happen where they've asked the questions and they just don't understand. They're too naive. But by me explaining, I realize, wait, there's more to this than I realized, because I think it's a simple solution, but sometimes there isn't a simple solution to something that you've already done before. Something happens again and you realize, oh, wait a second, there's a new way of doing this, a different way of doing this. And the person who doesn't know any better they need an explanation, and you by explaining that, you learn something new from it. It's again, life is an adventure. You have to be willing to take it.
Well, you got to be willing to take it, but you got to, we were given the eyes and ears to see it and hear it, and then a physical body to experience it. And, all those things work in combination, and you have to use them to learn. You can read books with your eyes, you can experience life with your body. You can hear. You can close your eyes and just listen to the world around you. You can listen to people talking and things happening. And you got to use all those things to your advantage. But then in the end, you have to, I've learned myself. I like Scotty there. I had a big ego. I can do it. I don't need help. I can conquer the world. I'm strong as a bull. I can lift those logs. I can fill that truck full of stuff. I can do it all. But you know what? After a while, I learned, maybe I can do it all, but maybe I shouldn't do it all. Maybe I should ask for help. Maybe I should ask, even if I'm not going to use your opinion, Lucky, I'm going to ask you your opinion. And I'm going to say, what do you think of this? Maybe I am still pretty set in stone of what I want to do, but I'm going to ask your opinion. And then I'm going to think about that, because my ego is here, and sometimes I have to lower it. Sometimes I think, you brought up a really good point. That makes a lot of sense. And if it makes more sense what you're saying than I can think of with my ego, I might change my mind a little bit, or maybe a lot, but that's the thing. I've learned that through the years, and I guess that's what's called learning to be wise.
That's the truth. That is true wisdom. Is to when someone. One of my biggest obstacles in life were people who enjoyed hearing themselves talk. People who talk and talk and talk and don't really listen to you. It used to drive me crazy because they wasted so much of my time. But then I realized maybe not. Maybe I should stop my aversion to listen to them and just listen to them with compassion, be open to them. And and if they keep talking and I don't understand where they're going with this, use awkward silence. Just let them go off. And if I don't understand, just don't even know what to say. Say nothing and let them fill it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I've had bosses who just one of my favorite stories is a boss was asking my opinion on something, and I was trying to be nice and said that a lot of times for this job you got to learn to listen. I learned to let other people talk and let them get the whole story. And he went on for 15 minutes why listening was so important. And I realized he's not going to absorb this. But then I stopped myself and said, wait, I'm judging. This is how he absorbs this. He's presenting this information out to me because he needs to learn it subconsciously. So he's going to present it to me so he can absorb it for himself. And that's a challenge because I like meetings. I want quick and done. I'd rather send an email, say, this is what we're going to do, talk about, and then we're done. Well, there are people who just like presentations and spend a 5-minute meeting and spend a half an hour doing it. And at work, we have to do that. So you have to listen to people with compassion, even people who talk too much.
Yeah, that's true. And bringing up bosses, a lot of times you're right. The boss likes to talk, and then he will tell, and he'll come up with ideas. And if you come up with the idea, he'll poo-poo it. And then 2 days later, he'll come up with the same idea and say it's his.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, what to say about that. But the thing is he's taking your idea and calling it his own. And because mostly bosses have a big ego. And they are listening, but they are not admitting they're listening, I should say. Hey, that's wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. Oh, we can do whatever we want 2 hours later. You guys shouldn't be doing that. I thought it over, and that's not a good thing to do. Well, I just told you that. No, you didn't.
Yeah, for me, if it helps my job be better, if my boss steals my idea and makes my job easier, I'm fine with that. Let him go off of that. And it has happened that I've come up with an idea and had a presentation, said, this is what we should do. This is my idea. And he took it, made it his own, and ran with it. Because I work nights. A lot of times, the things that I present, I got to rely on others to go with it. And unfortunately for him, he ran with it and didn't have all the information. I provided him enough for the presentation, but there was stuff behind that, and he fell flat in his face. And at that point, he had to admit, well, this isn't entirely my idea. I relied on someone else. And, and then that person, that big vice president came to me and asked for it and said that we apologize that, we didn't give you credit for it. I'm like, I don't care about the credit. I want my job. I'm here as a team player. I am a team. And those words, they were exactly what the vice president wanted to hear, and they gave me kudos and gave me this little gift certificate for being a team player and helping out. And I'm like, I don't need all this stuff. I just want my job to be easier, you know, because I'm alone at night. The day shift has like 7 people, and the second shift has 4 people, and I am one person. And I say to them, I can't get all the work done. But if I get this much from the others, it makes my job easier. So,
Oh yeah, yeah. I've done the same thing. We had a process that wasn't working right. I wrote up a whole bunch of stuff. They called me into the office. We sat down. They said, you did a great job, blah, 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 but it really didn't add up to anything on like my paycheck, nor did it add up to a, higher position or nothing. It was like, oh, you did a good job. Now get out of here. Thanks for doing that. Well, I've saved the company millions of dollars. Okay, good. You're a team player. Well, and sometimes you wonder about that stuff. After a while, do you keep working hard? I don't know. I mean, I think that the higher ups don't look at you the same way. They have that too big of an ego.
That's the truth. That's another thing that people, me especially, need to learn is there is a point where I have to pull back, because for a year now, they were supposed to hire an assistant to me. I'm not supposed to be alone. I'm supposed to have someone, at least one other person with me, so I can do my job, and they promised this. But there was a promotion in line for me. This was going to be my, the director had, this position is perfect for you. It's more of a day position, but we can work with it, that kind of thing. And I was so excited. In 6 months, well, I recently found out that they gave the position to someone outside the company, and the person who was hired, to be above my boss, basically, he hired this person, and he said to me, we can't lose you. There's nothing we can do, and we can't afford to lose you. And I realized there's no way I'm going to get a promotion, because they can't fill my position, let alone an assistant to me. They can't fill an assistant. They can't fill my job. So.
And there's Delaney.
Hello, Delaney Pro Jones.
Welcome.
No.
You're here.
The service in here sucks.
We've been talking about you today. We showed some pictures that you sent me with your new apartment.
I can't even hear y'all. I told y'all, wait a minute. You didn't say, come on the show. Nina says he's waiting for you. Can you hear me, or is the signal broke up?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Oh, now she's gone. Oh, wow. She'll be back.
Yeah.
Delaney. Everybody loves Delaney. Just give us an update, Delaney, about what is going on. She's got a place with sucky internet.
I know who that is. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why. That's the funny thing is that during the day, because part of my job is that I stop my job and I come home,
Hmm.
and because I come home at peak internet, I can't be on a video for work, and and that's one of the funny things is I have to present and say, hey, the present is in the email. Could you open it? And I'll go through the pages.
Hmm.
Internet is a funny thing. When we pay big money and around the world, third world countries, they have the better internet than we do in the United States. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, chat's moving pretty fast. Anyway, yeah, hopefully she'll come back on. She'll get here yet. Don't you worry, people. We got quite the full house. Lady Spitfire is joining us, and let's see who else we got here. Chloe and Max Vision and Amber Dawn and Mary Wins. Let's see. I see. I missed somebody. Oh boy, the chat was moving so fast. Truth Seekers here. That's it. Truth Seekers here. And yes, let's see. Lady Spitfire, she says, did you look for that book, Robert? Yes, I looked for the book. I did order the book, so I will be getting the book soon. It is ordered and on the way to my house. Love it. Can't wait to review it. Anyway, but yeah, there's a lot of things that go on, and we got our ego. I think Scotty Boy said something about the ego and the body and all of that, but I think the ego is developed through the body. I don't know as a spirit being because I can't remember back that far, and maybe you know the spirits better than I do. Do spirit beings have ego?
Yeah.
Yes. So you
Oh.
carry the ego with you.
The problem is the spirit beings with ego are usually trapped here. Those are the ones who cause the most trouble because they're just here. They want attention, ego,
Mm-hmm.
The higher beings, they're in and out, back and forth, helping everyone. They have no ego. So that's the difference, once you release ego, you don't have to be here anymore. But if you're higher and released and relaxed and angelic, you can go to the other side and back here, back and forth. Although coming here can be troublesome for some of the spirits, but they do it, as a service.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I know, because a lot of times what I understand is what's translated through my tiny brain. I explain it like calculus. Back in school, sometimes calculus was so foreign to me, and they're trying to teach calculus to a preschooler, or no, to an elementary school, some kid who knows math. But how are you going to understand calculus? To me, that's what spirits are. Spirits are trying to explain something, very complicated concept, and I can't understand all the parts. I can sense some of it, but not all of it. But that's the best I can explain. Ego is tough.
Pearl Jones says, my connections are poop right now. Yeah. Well, okay, Delaney, if you can hear me and you come back on and just tell us a little bit about your new apartment and what's going on. We could hear you just fine and everything. Maybe you couldn't hear us or see us, but until you cut out, we could hear and see you just fine. We're all waiting to hear about your new apartment and how your life is going. So that's what we were waiting for. We're all, like Amber said, you're the manifest queen. We're sitting on the edge of our seats waiting to hear from you. Anyway, let's see. So anyway, that's the thing. So if we're carrying our ego with us, and then the higher being, maybe that's a thing of becoming a higher being is letting go of that ego. So they can come back and help us here, because they don't have that ego, because why would a higher being want to come back and help a person like you or me? Why? What's the point? What do they get out of it?
why would you want to help a child learn to ride a bicycle? A child that you're not related to. I
Good
was
question.
one thing. I was walking. I do a lot of walking just because it makes me clear my head. And a woman, her child, she was a child with 2 children, and one of them dropped a shoe. Honestly, it's a child. Childs don't even need shoes. So honestly, the child dropped a shoe meant nothing to me. Probably meant nothing to the child, and the mother would probably be sad, but they have another shoe. But no, I picked up the shoe and chased her down and said, "Hey, your child dropped a shoe." In the whole scheme of things, the shoe was insignificant. It was like new because children can't walk. For a higher being, why would it want to help us? Well, sometimes it just feels good. Simple
Yeah.
as that.
Maybe that's it. Some of us enjoy it more than others, though. Like myself, I don't look at myself as a kid person. I really don't. I know Scotty Boy was talking about that the other day. We were trying to chit chat about it, and I said something about 15 kids, and he says, "Yeah, I love kids." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not too keen on kids. Some people are really keen on kids, and I'm not too keen on kids. Although kids seem to gravitate towards me. I'm not mean to them either. But if I have to, I will, interact. But if I don't, I will try to avoid them. So that's kind of how it is. Although I'm not mean to them either. I'm nice. And I was an activities director.
Yeah. Well, kids are unique, and sometimes it can be tiresome dealing with them. Their energy and their questions and their innocence. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. Why would a higher being come down? And some higher beings probably don't want to deal with us, because because of our ridiculousness and trying to figure things out. Tonight we got home and the lights were all on, which means probably her house is haunted.
Wow. People are having some good videos coming up. Maybe the spirits followed her from her last place to this place. I don't know, but could be.
That's
No.
maybe they could have left the lights on, but most likely a lot of us could be obsessive about that kind of thing and turn out all the lights or just the right lights on.
Well, and here's another thing. Now that she moved, do you think some of those spirits that she had may have attached themselves to some of her property to make the move? Or did they somehow follow her? Do you think that could be possible?
That's a complicated question. And if I had to answer in my own humble opinion, I would say she would have to partially, at least some part of her, allow it to happen. But yes, spirits can attach themselves to metal, wood, things that can absorb energy, wood, living material, even woolen clothing has been good for attaching spirits.
Oh, really? Clothing?
Clothing. That's one of the things is that secondhand clothing.
Yeah.
A lot of people will not buy secondhand clothing, but one of the points I said was that you do realize that some of the clothes you buy from the big retailers are from slave labor. So I'd rather buy secondhand clothing that I know someone who cared about their clothes and probably had a good life than someone who was forced to make this nice piece of for Walmart, t-shirt sort of thing. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, clothing, yeah, but polyester and nylon, those are plastics. They don't really absorb too much, but wool and cotton, natural fibers tend to absorb energy. But again, that's in my humble opinion from what I have been presented.
Yeah.
And sometimes I believe the spirits tell me stuff just to confuse me to present their information how they want it presented.
Yeah, but I mean, that is kind of helpful information, in the future when everything is made out of plastic and, and stuff, well, it'll chase all the spirits away because none of the spirits will want to attach themselves to a plastic Rubik's Cube,
Well, they can't. That's the one thing is they really can't attach themselves to plastic because plastic is it's just not the right energy. It just can't. It's not much of a battery. It's just that you can't attach to energy. You know, it's living material. It just has the right. The weird thing is that a lot of the synthetics that are made that are exact copies of the vitamins. We have vitamins that are made from synthetic materials. Not those vitamins. These vitamins are minerals, and minerals are minerals. You can't change minerals. But they make vitamins that are made from petroleum, but they look just like the original vitamin, but they're they're a mirror image. It's the weirdest thing. It's like they make a copy of it, and it doesn't work as well. There are vitamins from natural sources are much better for you than the synthetic ones you buy from the Walmart and the Target.
Oh
I
yeah.
hate beating up on Walmart and Target, but because I love Target. Target's like an adventure for me. Walmart is a torture. It's a torture chamber.
Huh. Yeah. We don't have a Target around here too close, and I don't go to Walmart that often. I try to shop local as best I can.
That's the best way because
Yeah.
you just I love the small stores. Walking in, I love paying cash. I love the cash. You give them cash, and they there's too often when I paid cash, and then you gotta pay cash, and they pop a little few more things in because it's what happens after is they get the cash. I walk into a store, it's especially the reptile store where I need bugs to feed my critters. And I say, yeah, here's $20. How much can I get for $20? You're not going to charge me. I'd rather just use the cash and walk away. And and you just charge me below, and then the taxes, and here's $20. Just make it easier rather than making change. And we're both happier that way because cash is easier than having this money trail with credit cards. That's a whole other story.
Well, he's got a good one. She says many haunted dolls may become because they're only particularly plastic. Haunted dolls. You've heard of haunted dolls and things like that. I know I have.
The dolls normally have the porcelain ones are more haunted. Although the Raggedy Ann, which is Annabelle was Raggedy Ann doll, which was cotton. So the plastic dolls that are haunted, I don't know. A lot of them are. I know the older ones. I've had not had personally, but I have dealt with some dolls that were haunted, and they were porcelain. They had they had clothes on them. The clothes were usually woolen or linen clothing. So who knows? Who knows? I could be mistaken. But
Yeah.
how those dolls were made? Usually it's the older dolls, and what happens? Maybe there's more to the plastics of the dolls than I understand.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I know I've seen things on YouTube and movies and TV and stuff about haunted dolls, and most of the time they're really older ones. Like you said, porcelain, cloth ones, things like that, handmade, wooden, so forth and so on. And that is a good question if the newer dolls would become haunted because they are plastic. She says maybe it could be the clothes of the doll could be the haunted pieces.
I mean, for all the haunted dolls I know, they've all been cloth dolls. Like Robert the doll, he was made, he was sewn, he was cotton and wool. Then Annabelle, she was a Raggedy Ann doll, which was probably synthetic fiber itself. Probably the hair was synthetic, but you never know. There's probably much more to the story that would, if I looked into it, I could probably figure it out. But yeah, I mean, dolls themselves, I never had a problem with dolls, but the stupid clowns, I never did like clowns. And that's for my whole life. Clowns were bothersome to me.
Oh yeah, believe it or not, this is definitely the time to talk about haunted dolls. Here's a good one for us to look at. There's a whole museum for that. Look at this. Haunted Dolls 2, The Riddles of the Westward Spirit, opening the 30th. Our fan favorite haunted doll scavenger hunt. Haunted dolls. Yeah, that looks like a porcelain doll. Dolls from Chicago's history.
But that clothes is probably that clothes looks very wool, or
Yes.
So the doll itself might not be as haunted as the clothes it's wearing being haunted,
Yeah.
or it doesn't take much for an item to become haunted.
Yeah, it says from 1880, 1944. Yeah, it'd definitely be porcelain or some kind of something. That'd definitely be wool or cotton, something. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. I just thought I'd look that up. I was looking up dolls, maybe I can find something else too. Haunted Doll Museum. See what they got to say. Maybe they get some pictures. Oh yeah, this is a good one. I don't know how we got onto this, but here it is.
Adventures.
Haunted Doll Museum. Spooky and haunted dolls. No pictures. Spooky haunted dolls. Haunted dolls are handmade toy figures with creepy figures. These dolls have odd facial expressions, wearing demonic, monstrous dresses. Every haunted doll has a background, possess story. It looks like that the haunted dolls have evil spirits controlling them. These odd dolls might act as per their accord. Their story of haunted dolls is very interesting for people of all ages. Youngsters are curious about it. The facial features make them out of the adorable class of dolls. Bloody eyes, spooky smiles, and strange gazes are terrifying features of them. Besides all of the stories, haunted dolls can't harm anyone. Although the dolls, it is unlikely to pose a threat. Seeing a face that appears real but isn't triggers for our sense of alertness. Wow. Interesting. Yeah. So maybe they can't do anything to you, but they sure freak you out.
Yeah, a lot of people are bothered by dolls. Although the paintings, that's interesting.
Yeah. There's always something interesting out there. Who would have thought there'd be haunted doll museums? Jeez. Yeah, there's one down in Key West, Florida.
Yeah, there's a lot down in Key West, Florida. That's where Robert the Doll lives.
Yeah, this is Robert the Doll. I found him.
Yeah, Robert's quite an interesting character. His backstory is strange.
Yeah, he's spooky looking, I tell you. Oh man, look at this guy. Robert the Doll. He's weird looking. He's been there for 100 years. Jeez. See what it says about Robert. Something. His family called him just a young boy in the early 1900s when his family maid gave him a strange straw-filled doll to play with. Gene loved his life-size doll, and brought it along everywhere, even naming it Robert after himself. It wasn't long, however, before people began noticing signs of Robert the Doll's evil and mischievous nature. See, so you're right. He was straw-filled. That's a natural filling. I mean, back in the early 1900s, he would have had, wool or cotton clothing, and he would have been made of porcelain or a clay or some kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's an idea that Robert the Doll was actually a voodoo doll. It was made by an African American housekeeper who was not treated too well, but by this family was treated very well. So she gifted them, this good luck charm, but it took on the aspects of the boy.
Yeah.
But that's the Robert. I can't do Robert the Doll story justice. There's a book written about it by Joshua P. Warren. He does a lot of research into it. You can imagine one doll, a book about this one doll, the story behind it.
Wow. Yeah. You imagine? Yeah, I can't imagine writing a whole book about a doll.
Yeah, one
Jeez.
doll.
Yeah, well, anyway, I wonder if anybody out there has, if you got a good doll spooky story, we're coming up to Halloween, let me know, send me an email, sit into the comments somewhere, let me know somehow, and we'll try to get that story out. I'd love to hear your tales about your dolls and or other action figures. Who knows? I mean, we're going to be talking probably a lot about haunted stuff, possessions. Halloween's coming up. You got to dig into this stuff, good, bad, or otherwise. And who knows? Maybe all these things are just aliens, and we just don't know how to distinguish the difference between a doll-like alien, and I'm sure Pamela Jean could tell us more about that, and things like that. So we're going to be digging into a lot of that stuff. Now, Chloe says, I hate dolls.
And to be completely upfront, I have a couple of haunted statues. So,
yep.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Join Nina tomorrow for free card pulls. She's doing an unboxing. Check in with her. Don't forget tomorrow night after Nina at 9 o'clock or so, we're going to be having Delabore and Trina Phoenix on. And on Monday night, we're going to have Amber Dawn and Chloe on. That is going to be a special show. Of course, Tuesday night will be David Null, Hawkeye Two Feathers with our Native American myths and legends, everybody. So don't forget that. And then, of course, we're going to be getting ready for Halloween. Don't forget to go over to Nina's channel and leave a comment in the thing to get registered so you too can win something at her drawing for her costume party. She's giving away all kinds of good stuff like that. Anyway, are you going to dress up this year?
Me?
Yes.
When is the Halloween show? It's on
29th.
29th, which is it's a Sunday. I have lots of things. It's very possible I could dress up. Very possible.
I took a day of vacation for that.
Well, you always do, You had like several costumes though, so
yes, I do. I got several. I'm going to try to get a different one for this year too. I think I had a pirate. I love the pirate one. Arr! I got to get that one going. I got to go dig it out. And then I had a Wolverine one, and I want to be a superhero of some sort. Maybe I'll get a Superman one or something like that this year. Yeah. Nina says you could win a 60-minute session with her. Yeah. And Scotty Boy says, it makes no sense. Max Vision says he's got to go soon, and I did post his link here. Here's Max Vision remote view class. He's on right after us, so after we get done, go right over to Max Vision and check him out. He's getting ready. Link is right there. Take him a few minutes, get ready, and then go over and improve your mind and be a remote viewer. Now, I have a few questions for you yet. Now, the other day we were talking, and the thing about spirits and seeing and all of these things, and I keep quoting you all the time, and I'll never forget what you told me about the spirits and things like that, that they're always talking, but we just don't take the time to listen. We don't want to listen, or we're afraid to listen. Is this still true?
Oh God, yeah. Okay. One of the people I know was asking, my guardians never talked to me. I asked her name and it never came to me. And I'm like, stop. Your guardians are talking to you. You just don't think what they're saying is them. A lot of times the voices you hear in your head is your own voice. And you're like, oh, that's me doing that. But it's far more complicated than that. Once you relax, once you release judgment of what you hear and realize, wait, that isn't my voice. It's a different feeling to that. It's different cadence to the words. It's, might be your voice, but with an accent to it. It might be your voice with words that don't kind of work together. And for
Mhm.
me, personally, when the spirits, especially the high spirits, talk to me, they speak in symbols or short like visions of a situation, like short stories. It's hard to explain, but yeah, they are always talking. But we are so busy in this physical world that we're unable to listen because we're so focused on this, the next thing we got to do. And a lot of times you have to quiet yourself, learning. That's why I think walking meditation is important for everyone, because if you can learn to just walk and appreciate like nature, if you're lucky enough to walk in the woods where there are no or few people and just experience it, just experience nature and learn to listen to the nature, listen to the world around you, listen to the birds and the bugs and the bees and the trees, just
Mhm.
listen. You'll more be able to listen to what the spirits talk to you.
Mhm.
It's a pain. It's a complicated thing, but once it gets easier, like riding a bike as you practice.
Yeah, because I think a lot has to do with it because I tell myself to listen, and then I don't hear anything, so I give up. And
Hmm.
then I think about it later, and I think I'll do it again, and then I think maybe I'm not hearing because I don't want to hear. And then other times I think, well, maybe maybe in subconsciously I don't want to hear. And other times I'm thinking maybe I hear them, but I'm not listening. And so, I'm questioning it all the time. And I think that's my biggest problem. My ego gets in the, we were still talking about ego. My ego gets in the way. And then I give up and I just say, well, I didn't hear nothing. The heck with it. And I'm sure other people do it too, because in this world, we are all taught to get things instantaneously. And if it doesn't come instant, like you said, this person's talking and say, well, I was listening, I didn't hear anything. So,
Hmm.
they're not talking. Well, how long did you give it?
Hmm.
5 minutes? 10? Is that enough time? If you just say, okay, I'm going to listen. Are you there? Hey, see, they're not talking to me. I give up. See, they're never going to talk. No, it doesn't happen like that, does it?
I have a friend who believes in Bigfoot, believes in UFOs, believes in ghosts. He goes to ghost talks, walks. He goes to the Bigfoot things. He goes to the UFO conventions, and has never experienced any of it. And me and a few friends went to a ghost tour, and we all took pictures. And at the end, we all had these great pictures. And then he got nothing. We got streaks and orbs and all kinds of weird shit. And he got nothing. And he believes and he tries and he goes, I don't know why. I don't know why they don't like me, And to me, I had to stop and go, why? Why can this guy who wants to believe, he's truly willing to try and go and do it. He goes through all the hoops, makes all the attempts,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just the spirit said it's just not his vessel. It's not his vehicle. That's it. It just he it's just not his. He can have as much fun with it, but it's just not his place to do it. It's in his choosing when he had this assignment in life, getting involved with these things that he enjoys. Unfortunately, isn't his connection.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. That's one of those things. Oh, hit that button.
It was unfortunately it was hilarious because we went to the ghost store the next week and we all got together and shared our pictures. And he's like, "What the? You guys? How the same pictures, the same places? We had streaks and lines and orbs and him just regular pictures, night pictures, gravestones, houses, and we like streaks and lines and it was great because it's like your picture was great to say we took us the same time and then different nights. So this proves that some things are different than others. And the
Mm-hmm.
funny thing is that, I have an Android phone, but my friends all had the Apple phone, so they all had this, had the same phone. Three of them had the exact same model of phone, so it
Hmm.
wasn't it, it was so hard to explain the whole thing. It was just this, but sometimes it's not your place. I don't know how else to explain it. And
Oh,
you know,
I totally get it, and maybe that's the whole thing, is because to you it's just an everyday thing. To him, he's never had it,
Right.
so he wants it even more, and he wants to believe, yet he never actually. It's kind of like X-Files with Mulder.
Oh yeah,
Mulder always gets there right after all the action,
yep,
and I want to believe, I want to see the spaceship, and he's always chasing this prize, but he can never quite get there. He can never quite attach himself to it and say, yes, I seen it. I was there. I was on board the ship. I seen the spaceship. I got pictures. See it really happen. But he never quite gets there. And other people have all these experiences and he never gets that chance. And when he does, they erase his mind. And then he
yep.
has to start all over.
Uh-huh.
Which is that's kind of like your friend there. He's always chasing it, but can never quite grasp what the prize is. And whereas other people are always like, Scully is always getting abducted. She's always having things performed on her, and Mulder catches up with her and he can't explain it and he knows something's going on, but can't put his finger on it because he just got no proof, even though she was there. She was abducted. She was put in the capsule. She was, all these things. It's just like, what? Why can't Mulder just have this experience one time?
Well, that was the funny thing. Scully was the skeptic. She was the
Yes.
scientist, and she was experiencing everything. He wanted to believe, but he was. It was
Yeah.
kind of a equal and opposite sort of thing.
Yeah, that's the same thing you're talking about.
Mhm.
I mean, exactly. In a way, this guy here, he wants to believe so bad, he doesn't get nothing. And you're out there, you're kind of a skeptic, but you believe, whatever. And he takes the pictures. Look at all the things on here. Yeah, see, it's happening. No problem. Good job, but he's over there going, I tried. I took all the pictures that you did. I got nothing.
Nothing.
I went out there to see Bigfoot. Nothing. The other
Mhm.
guy got abducted by aliens. They went right around me and like I don't exist.
Yep. He says
Yeah.
he's got a zone of negativity around him. It just keeps everything away. I'm like, well, no, we're all experiencing it. You just, unfortunately, just different perspectives,
Yeah. And I don't know what it is with that. Well, anyway, we've gone our hour and everybody's starting to head over to Max Vision remote view class. I'm going to put the link in the chat right again. I put it in several times. Go over there, learn about your brain, and remote viewing. And everybody can participate, and everybody does pretty good. And Max is just right on with all of that. Remember, join us tomorrow night where Trina and Delabor will be on starting at 9:00. And then Monday night, Amber and Chloe will be on for a great show with Chloe's debut appearance. And then check us out on Tuesday night. It's going to be this is going to be a busy week for me. Tuesday night with our Native American myths and legends. And then Wednesday, go over to Nina's channel where she'll have her hump day message, card pulls. Don't forget this. Yeah, the Anakarana. Go get this is the time of year to go buy a Anakarana sweatshirt.
Good luck, Anakarana. Yep.
I know. I wore mine to the store one day and some lady looks up and she says, what is that? And then I got to explain it to her. I mean, it's one of those things that just attract people. And, they look over and go, what is that sign? That's just different. Anyway, I don't know if you had that experience, but I did. And there's the enter to win a prize. And Nina's from Nina. She's going to give away some readings and things like that. So get over there, enter to win on her YouTube channel. I watched the thing and it's real simple. You got to comment below. You maybe donate and you get another chance to win. Go on, wear a costume, and you get a chance to win just by participating from your own home with your own phone and your camera. And, you know, just get on and say, see, look, I dressed up, and ta-da, you're entered. Just that fast. So free card pulls tomorrow night, she says. So get on over there and join her tomorrow night for some free card pulls. And if you want, get your Anacarana merchandise right there. That's right. Amber says, good night, everyone. And that's what we're going to do. Remember, go out and do something nice for your neighbor. But first, do something nice for yourself. So you're that cup that overflows and can spill out into the world around you. Remember that your ego is not that important to make you happy. Be humble and you're more powerful. And with that, remember, and the most important thing, be the frequency you want to receive, everyone. Love y'all. Peace, everybody.